So hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a story time video, which is something that I've never done before, but I thought it would be really cool because this is something that I've definitely wanted to talk about, and I've talked about it in my Q&A video, and I've heard from a couple different people they wanted to hear more about it. I'm sorry if there's any background noise. I had to film outside because my brother was next door to me and he was screaming at his video games, so I thought that any wind or birds might be better than him screaming at his video game, so I came out here. So this is not clickbait. I have passed out twice in the middle of class as it was going, which is crazy. One was about a year and 2 months ago, while the other was 3 weeks ago, so that's really recent. So yeah, the only 2 times I ever passed out was in class. I'm going to give a little bit of a background story, which won't take that long, but none of the stories would make any sense if I didn't explain this. The first story that I'm going to talk about when I passed out the first time in class is not that bad. Maybe it's still gonna make me sound crazy, but the second story is going to make me sound insane. So I have hemophobia, which is a fear of blood, but it's different than any other phobia out there. It's the only one that causes vasovagal syncope, if I'm saying that correctly, which is fainting. I don't react to blood in the way that most people react towards their phobias. I don't hyperventilate or freak out, anything. When I see it, there are a few signs that I'm going to talk about that happened to me, but it's nothing like normal phobias. First time I realized that I had this, I was at a baseball game in the parking lot. We were about to go in. My brother's friend had the car seat hit him in the head. He cracked his head open. I was only 12 when this happened, but luckily I was not in class, so I could lay down. I laid down in the back of my dad's truck, and the first time that I noticed the signs here was that all the colors started to turn to cool colors. I started to see a lot of blues and purples. Still happens now when I feel like I'm about to pass out. But so that was the first time I realized it. When I was 11 to 14, nothing really happened that much with it. The only thing that did happen is that when I did see a lot of blood, which is the first sign of something going wrong that has to do with blood, is that I feel really weak. So if I clench my fists together like this, when I start to see a lot of blood and my body reacts in the way that it does, I have no strength. So when I clench my fists, I don't have any pressure, which is hard to explain, but I feel like I just lose all the strength in my body. So those are the main signs that happen. I don't think there's much more. The other symptoms only happen when I'm about to pass out, which I'm going to explain in the 2 stories. So I'm just going to get in to the first story. I have 3 days left of my sophomore year in high school right now. So this first story happened at the end of freshman year. I was in biology and we were talking about hemophiliacs, which I honestly don't even exactly remember what hemophiliacs are because passed out 5 minutes into the lesson, and I'm not going to look it up right now because I don't think I would react well towards it. But if you want to know what it is, Google it yourself. It has to do with blood. I know it's I don't know, something is wrong with the blood in your body or the way it comes out of your, okay, yeah, I'll just stop. So my biology teacher was talking about hemophiliacs. There were no pictures, no videos. She was just speaking, and I started to feel weird. Before this point, I had never passed out, so I kept telling myself, it was no way I'm gonna pass out, I'm gonna be good. The cool colors, like the purples and blues, started to show up everywhere. I found out this was because of the pinching of blood vessels in your eyes. You start to see white dots everywhere, so I started to see the cool colors, the white dots. I put my head into my hands like this, and my elbows were on my desk. And the next thing I knew was that I was on the ground in the middle of my biology class. That was one of the scariest things ever because at first I do not remember what happened. It was so scary for me, but it also must have been scary for the people around me, just seeing some girl completely fall out of her chair and hit the ground. So the first thing that happened, luckily I was in a science class. My teacher knew how to deal with it, so she told me to sit on the ground, put my head between my knees. I did that. The first question that he asked was, have you eaten this morning? And I love food, so yeah, I've eaten. I cannot go to school without eating. I don't get the people that can. I get way too hungry. But yes, I ate my normal amount. I knew it was because of blood, and that's what I kept saying. Went to the nurse. I left school because I did not think it was safe for me to go back to school after that. There was another class a few days after that I did have to leave the class because I knew that I was not feeling good and I felt like I was going to pass out, but luckily I knew that it was going to happen. I could know the signs better and my teacher knew, so I went out and just sat outside during that lesson. Probably was not good for my grade because I did not know much about the subject for the test, but I don't remember impacting my grade that much, not knowing about that. But either way, that was the first time. It was so scary, and the weird thing is that to me, it was scary and weird, but I also don't have a problem talking about it. Like, obviously I have no problem telling people about it. I had no problem talking to people about it at school. But my teacher, after I left, told the whole class to not speak to me about it and that I'm so embarrassed and that I do not want to talk about it. But I never said that, and I had no problem talking to people about it. So that was really weird, because when I walked in the next day, like, everyone would just like look away from me, acting like nothing happened, but I was fine with talking about it. I wanted to talk to people about it so they didn't think that I like died. I don't know, it was weird. So that year ended, didn't experience any other major things until a few months ago. I cut my thumb really badly and I almost passed out. I was at home though, so I could lay on the couch, and I tried to get up about 3 different times, but I had to lay down each time because I felt like I was gonna pass out, and I knew I was. But besides that, there wasn't any major things. Obviously, like, every other week I experience something that's not good, just from TV, movies, whatever, and I always test myself with this. Since passing out the first time, I was researching ways to keep yourself from fainting. So what I read was that tensing up your muscles and like making sure that you're moving. Already the first story does not make sense to 99% of the population, because people think that I just need to get over it and it's just a fear that I need to deal with. The thing is, I don't react in a way that I hyperventilate. I don't know, it's so hard to explain. My body just faints. And I'm really not being over dramatic about this. Like, no matter what I do, I cannot control what happens. So I'm just going to get into the second story, and then after that I'm going to talk about why it's a problem, I guess. And even though I do kind of laugh about it because I cannot believe it's happened to me, I need to find something that can actually help me with this, because I cannot live my life this way. Second story explains why it's so bad. First story kind of makes sense because I was in biology, we were talking about blood. This year, 3 weeks ago, I was in English class. We were reading The Great Gatsby. We were supposed to read a few different chapters over the weekend. I read those chapters. Apparently most of the class didn't do it or didn't know, I'm not sure. We read those chapters again in class. I had already read them, I was getting really bored. Everyone was like popcorn reading, holding my book like this, and I flipped my hand over, I think I was flipping a page, something like this, and the veins on my hands, for some reason, were sticking out more than normal. Your body does different things, it wasn't anything bad, they sticked out for a few minutes, whatever. I ran my finger over my veins, felt them, they were like popped out, and it's so hard to explain this, but I instantly felt sick. But then I was like, no, like, I'm good. I'm not getting, like, this is nothing bad. It's just my hand. It's part of my body. I'm okay. I tried my best to forget about it and get back into reading. I tried to follow along, but for some reason I just could not get my mind off of the veins in my hands. Tensed up my calf muscles and was like moving my legs up and down just a little bit, like kind of like this, so I would keep moving. Again, saw the cool colors, saw the white lights. At this point I don't know what to do because I can't see enough, or like I'm not conscious enough. I don't really know how to explain it to be able to tell someone once I get to this point. Put my head down again, just like this, on the desk, which is not a good sign. If I pass out the first time, it's gonna happen again. I did not fall in this class, but what happened is, from asking people, because I really want to know what happened to me, I asked a few different people that were there, and they said that my head went back like this, and I don't know if my hands were up here shaking or they were down shaking, but all I remember is that my teacher tapped on my shoulder, asked if I was okay, and I could feel my arm shaking, which I then researched that seizure-like shaking is common in fainting, so it's nothing bad. So my head went back, and I was apparently out for around 4 to 5 seconds, which the first time it was only about 1 second, probably because I hit the floor. But second time, my head just flew back, and then my arm was shaking. Luckily, one of my friends is in that class, and she was there last year when I passed out too. She happened to be in both of those classes. So she texted her mom, which has my mom's phone number, told my mom about me passing out again, because that's not a good thing. We were reading a book, and I passed out looking at my own hand. I bet you've never met anyone that have looked at their own hand and passed out, or any part of their body and passed out. So what happened was my teacher asked me if I was okay, asked me if I need to go to the nurse, but I said no, I just need to sit down first. So there's a couch in the room, which I don't know why there's a couch in my English classroom, but I went to go sit down on the couch. I sat down on the couch for about 5 minutes, because luckily there's only about 5 minutes left to class. Since it was my first period, my mom hadn't left to work yet, so she came to the school. It's already so scary fainting, but fainting in class is so scary. But there's apparently a rumor going around that I had a seizure in class because my arms were shaking. That's the thing though, I hate how my teachers were like, don't talk to her about it. She doesn't want to be talked to. She's embarrassed. She doesn't want to speak of it. We need to pretend like it didn't happen. But then there was this rumor going around that I had a seizure, which I don't care, but people know that I have hemophobia and that I pass out blood whatever. I have no problem telling people that. When people came up to me about it, I had no problem telling them about it. But people thought I had a seizure. Having a seizure is definitely worse than passing out due to your own hand. So yeah, people that thought I had a seizure, I told them I didn't have a seizure. I don't know who else, if there's anyone else that still thinks I had a seizure in class. And if you're from my school and watching this and think that I had a seizure, I did not have a seizure. I just fainted from looking at my own hand. And I think there is counseling to help this, and I want to be positive about the counseling, but I really don't know what I can do to help this, because no matter how hard I try not to pass out, my body just reacts in that way. The only way that I was able to stop myself from passing out when I was at home was being able to lay down, but obviously I can't just lay down anywhere. But a reason why it will affect my life so much is 2 different reasons. One reason is that 2 different things that I was thinking about majoring in, but one of them is nutrition and dietetics. My mind has been set on that for over a year now, but I have to take an anatomy class. If I couldn't get past 10 minutes of learning about hemophiliacs in biology, I don't know how I can get past a whole course in anatomy. Talking to my friends who are taking anatomy now in high school, there's no way I can get past 1 day. And college is more and more in depth and everything, so it's gonna be even worse. I genuinely don't think that I would be able to take that class with this, because no matter how hard I try and how hard I try to distract myself from it and tell myself that it's natural to have veins in your hand, I can't stop myself from passing out. It just happens. And even if I can't major in that, there are other things I can major in. But later in life, if I have kids, what if one of them cuts their thumb like I did, and I pass out trying to help them and they're left there with their cut thumb alone? That's so scary. Like, imagine like a 3-year-old and I like pass out trying to help them. Like, that doesn't work. I can't do that. But I can't stop myself from passing out. These definitely make me sound crazy. It's so hard for me to realize that people don't understand this. This is not normal. So yeah, I know this sounds crazy. I don't know what I'm going to do. I doubt there's a single person watching this that experiences this. I don't know. I know I sound crazy. I looked at my own hand and passed out. I looked at my own hand and passed out. I still don't believe that I did that. Like, yeah, I think that's all for this video. I don't really know what else to say. There's no ending to this yet. Hopefully, maybe I can make it like throughout a long time updates about this, and hopefully I can help it, because I can't live the rest of my life passing out when I see blood. I don't really know. If you're new to my channel, hit the subscribe button if you want to hear more about me and this subject. I would definitely like to make more videos about this. If you have any questions, please comment them below. If there's enough, I'll do a whole nother video answering those questions. Yeah, because I can only imagine there's so many questions people have, because it's not normal. This is not something that people will understand. So if you have any questions about this, if it's something I didn't cover in this, please comment that down below. I would really love to be able to answer that. Yeah, I think that's it. Subscribe to this channel if you want to see more of me or more videos on this topic. I also make veganism health videos if you want to watch those too. Like this video if you liked it. Turn on my post notification bell next to my subscribe button if you want to know when I upload. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye! If you got to this point in the video, comment your biggest fear. Why not?